And at that point, I shot another 203 round. That there was like this irrigation pipe that was elevated off the ground, and it was pretty narrow. And 203 is not a line of sight weapon. It kind of lobs. So when you're looking down the barrel, you don't always see something that's above what your sights are that you may hit due to the trajectory of the round. And it hit this pipe. And I believe after that, most of the firing stopped, and I ran across the road, and Captain Lohman ordered us to break contact, or excuse my language. They ordered us to break contact, and yeah, the Bradleys that were trying to make it through to our position while we were cut off and pinned down, they came up the road, and we evac'd my platoon leader to the Bradley, the first one of the Bradleys, or his track, and got him to the medevac, and the other track came down, and me and the other individual on the patrol with me stayed to lay down suppressive fire while he was going up this elevated terrain that was exposed. And like the Bradley came through, and I mean, there was maybe about 2 or 3 minutes after they stopped firing, and I got in the back of the one Bradley, and they said, where did it come from? And I just said, the basic area it came from, which included the house. But actually at this point, thinking back on it, I don't believe that the rounds were coming from the house. They were coming from trees, like a date palm orchard that was, adjacent to the back. And I mean, we basically suppressed the entire area with 25mm high explosive rounds. And like the 25mm chain gun, which is the armament on a Bradley, is quite an effective weapon, an efficient weapon. It fires automatically, and every round is like a hand grenade traveling thousands of feet per second. The area sustained considerable damage, and that was pretty typical of an engagement. Towards the end, if we were fired at with, if someone fired at us with an AK, we were pretty much going to fire back at you with as much firepower as we could muster. And it didn't matter at the time that it was in a civilian area, and it was pretty much understood that we were weapons free on 25mm, and that if someone shot at you in the city, you could use however many rounds were in your discretion to pacify the situation. And on several occasions, we were in very highly populated areas, and caused considerable damage to the surrounding area. I mean, the civilians involved weren't necessarily, I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid that kind of fire. It's kind of hard to avoid not being on the battlefield in Iraq. It's an occupation, and it's in, you're walking around people's neighborhoods, people's homes. This area that I just described, the firefight that I got into was behind a house, and it was I mean, that was typical of I'd say about 80% of the engagements that we got in were in urban areas, and we would repeatedly use 25mm and 120 rounds on occasion to suppress the area, causing damage to the surrounding parts. I mean, like I said, it's you keep getting hit with all these little pop shot attacks, and you just wish someone would stand and fight you sometimes. And you want so much to bring justice for your friends who were killed. You know, you want so badly to avenge them, you get caught up in the cycle of war, you know. They hit you and you want to hit them back 10 times as hard. And I don't think that any piece of paper can change that. I don't think any piece of paper can make war, you know, could make this war, you know, I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I mean, people look at me and say, "Did you follow the ROE?" And it's like, I mean, what does that say, you know? You really think I'm going to pull out the card and say "KIF" and stop, you know, before, you know, before people do that? There's definitely, looking back on it now, you know, at the time you get so wrapped up into everything that you feel like, you know, you just want to get out there and you know, this one's for, you know, so and so who died in my platoon, and this one's for so and so, and you stop caring about who gets hurt because you're so affixed on, you know, who's been hurt in your unit, and we all just wanted everyone to come home alive, and it's difficult. It's difficult when we're put in a situation where we're experiencing pop shot and you know, sniper shot and IED situations in an urban or you know, civilian occupied area. I mean, it's going to be pretty ugly, especially given the weapons that we used and the weapons we were given. So, I mean, like I said before, you know, things definitely degenerate over time. That's all I have to say at this point. Thank you.